from all around your lawn. I'm here to tell you how football is strong. We're the best. Bounce the ball.
Good morning and welcome back to the GDFL Netball show for round 8. We have a special guest this morning joining us. Good morning, Shandell Cook from Fit for Women.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shandell. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for coming on. We wanted to have a personal trainer on and have a chat just to get some ideas for the girls out there. So, Shandell, firstly, what I thought we would chat about is tell us about your company, what you do, and what is personal training.
Okay, my little company is Fit for Women, caters to women, of course, which is perfect.
Yes.
And it caters to, I guess personal training caters to the individual's needs, depending on what sort of, where they're at with their goals, whether it be to maintain their fitness, for weight loss, fat loss, and just sort of a variety in a program that sort of might cater to their needs as far as, they might already do,
Some
fitness
things,
along the way, but it's just nice to be accountable to someone.
That's what it is, that
keep on
word.
track.
Yeah,
Donna, accountable.
And it is. It's like your own personal coach, and it's always good to have them on your back because without that coach, you sometimes get a bit slack in that the fitness department, and you do tend to wane off. So it is a very, very good idea to have a personal trainer.
Yeah, and look, I guess what we wanted to sort of chat this morning about is just some ideas for some of the girls. I know myself, I train sort of most of the year, but some of the girls that may struggle with their health and fitness and weight and things like that. So just wanted to sort of get some ideas from you and things they could do maybe in the off season, some of the clubs that struggle with fitness on a game. So can you give us some ideas, Shandell, about what would be good for the girls to do and not to do?
Sure. Well, I think, as it is a team sport, it's great because they've already got that camaraderie and they've got that sort of group, situation anyway. So you don't necessarily have to train on your own to, continue your fitness in the off-season particularly. And you also don't have to train in a gym.
No.
Though it's winter, well, it feels like winter already.
And winter is a bit of an excuse, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is exactly that. Yep. And it deters people from getting out there and training out on the streets or out in the park or anything like that. Yep. But I promise you, once your heart rate's up, your temperature's up, and you don't feel the cold. But it's really important that if you lack motivation getting out there on your own, go with a few other people.
From the club,
form a team. Have everyone, encourage everyone else along.
Sure.
Form a running group, a walking group, or it actually doesn't take much to form like a circuit training group, which I actually do a lot of circuit training, and I'm indoors at the moment, so keeping everyone away from the cold. So there are no excuses.
But they can do that.
But there's lots of body weighted exercises that you can do without having to use equipment. I think people think, I've got to get into a gym, I've got to use all this equipment, it's too difficult. Yep. Things like lunges and squats and push-ups, and
that's so good.
And fantastic. And you are so right, because I was doing this with my under-17s, and we were using the netballs above the head. And I had the cones out and making them doing sit-ups and push-ups and stuff like that, other than the netball side of it for their fitness. So
that's what you're talking about, a circuit, Donna,
is what? Without having to use the weights in itself.
And mix it up. Variety is definitely the key. If you have the same regime going day after day, you're going to lose interest. Yeah. So as much as you can, throw in a bit of variety, walk one day, do some weighted exercise the next day. Weight training, bike riding,
because you are
really
right.
Simple.
You can get a bit bored with the one thing.
Yeah.
With what about food and things like that? Like, can you give us some ideas of things to stay away from? I know alcohol's one of the ones.
Yes.
That's a really bad one, isn't it?
Well, it is actually. The idea with foods, it's ideal to sort of stay away from the saturated sort of fatty foods.
Which are? Can you give us some ideas on those?
Well, that's the
fish
thing.
And chips.
Fish and chips.
McDonald's.
Butters.
Kentucky.
And cheeses and, and the thing is, if you read the nutrition panel on the back of a product and see what it contains, usually the more it contains or the more numbers it contains, you're usually going to find it's full of sugars and additives, colours, preservatives.
Yes.
Try and stay away from fried foods, prepackaged foods, takeaway foods. The simpler you can, and if you can create your food yourself, you know exactly what's going into it.
The simpler the better, isn't it?
Exactly. So, and you can find ways to make it really tasty without having to feel like you're eating rabbit food. Yeah. You don't have to eat so simply. And,
And that's not saying that you can't rule all those foods out altogether.
No,
because I think if your craving is there, I'm a chocolate fanatic, and I know that if I crave chocolate, I do have to have some chocolate to get that craving over.
Yeah.
But, you know, you fall off the wagon,
Not a
you
block.
get back on it.
You do.
Yeah.
So you have to stay really positive, and you will have your negative moments, but get back on that train and, you know, it'll be benefit for you.
Everything in moderation, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you are, you know, depriving yourself of a certain food, and you know, you're more likely
really
to
want
binge
it.
on that. You know, if you don't go for it at all. But I mean, it's you find so much sodium in a lot of foods and a lot of fats and
that's a killer,
sugars.
isn't it, sodium?
Yeah, so I mean, stay with your whole grains, your fruit and veg. The more basic and raw you can have your food cleanly
And fish, they say once a week.
Absolutely. Well, all the omega 3s, like your fish and your, and also eggs and proteins, beans and nuts. They're the good foods to have, especially while you're training, because it's great for muscle growth and repair. Yeah, fuel, absolutely. And it's not to say don't go the carbs. Absolutely.
No.
You need the carbs.
And plenty of water too. I always find, like, when I'm in that fitness phase, the more water I drink, because sometimes we think we're hungry, but replace it with water first, and then you'll see after you drink the water whether you really are hungry.
It's the biggest filler, isn't it, they say?
Water.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You do fill up on water as well.
Yeah.
So with alcohol, it contains empty calories, so the body doesn't actually benefit from it, doesn't actually use it. So, and sugars and carbs is what it contains. So your simple wine or beer, you think, oh, they're the basic ones to have. They're probably the worst ones.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's probably better to go for the hard liquor. I mean, if you're going to, I'm certainly not condoning have a big drink all the time. Occasionally, everything in moderation.
Because I know it's, am I right in saying for a glass of wine, it's a 45-minute walk to wear it off?
There you go, yeah.
That's frightful.
Input versus output. And often the output has to
Damn it,
become
no
a
more
lot
casks
so.
on a Saturday night, girls. I'm sorry.
In fact, you're better to stay with some of the liquor like gin or vodka, rum or whiskey.
With soda.
With soda, yeah. You've got to be careful what you add to that. You can't necessarily add flavoured drinks and juices.
No.
That adds to the calories.
It's the calories, yeah.
Not to mention alcohol causes dehydration. And, you know, your recovery the next day isn't so fantastic.
So can you tell us a couple of things that some of the girls could maybe look at doing for their fitness for the season and for just keeping them fit in the off-season?
And especially as a club, as a group, as a team.
Some ideas,
Yeah, absolutely. Form, like I said before, you know, a walking group or, you know, in the mornings or the evenings outside of work hours. Make sure it works.
Get
and
that comradeship.
Stay in contact with one another.
And I think the other thing is probably on that too, if you're committed that someone's coming at 6 o'clock, you go. So
exactly, exactly. Team up and like I said, mix it up. You can always come and do a circuit training class with me if you like.
Absolutely, which we were going to say. Look, Chantal, thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful for you to come in this morning. Just give your you operate where?
I'm actually indoors at the moment. Normally it's Fit for Women outdoor circuit training, but at the moment it's indoors.
And the website?
So the website is www.fitforwomenoct.com. OCT stands for Outdoor Circuit Training, though I'm indoors at the moment. You can get lots of information from there, including prices, a bit of a backstory on my
on yourself,
background.
You've got some great things.
Yeah, so I've come from a little way back, weight loss and all sorts of things. So
that's excellent. Well, thank you, Chantal. It's been a pleasure having you on. We'll be back shortly after the break.